This is FYI on YourTV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham. I have got Ramsey Hart back with us here on FYI. You're the Executive Director of the Table Community Food Centre. Welcome back.
Thanks, Kathy. Good to be with you.
We've got lots to talk about, some good news that you're going to be helping out Smith Falls area as well too. But first, let's start talking about what is the Table Community Food Centre.
Well, here at the table, we're working to build a healthier community and a more connected community. And we do that by making sure everyone has access to good, nourishing food. We teach people, we bring people together around food to cook and share food. We have community gardens, we run a food bank. And then we also help people get engaged on issues. And so right now we're running a course called Pathways to Ending Poverty, where we've got 20 people that are learning about different policy options and things that we can concretely do to take people out of poverty.
And that's wonderful. I love the word connections too. It's and to be able to base it all on a table of food too. Like where do you do your best conversation sometimes,
Exactly right. We say it starts with good food, but it certainly doesn't end there. And so food is what brings people into the center, and then there's so much more we can do once we have people engaged.
That's right. And whereabouts are you located in Perth?
We're on 190 Gore Street East. So it's sort of in the south end of town as you're leaving town towards Rideau Ferry.
And how's it been through COVID?
Well, it's been challenging in a lot of ways. We've had to figure out how to continue operating safely. We've had a lot of fluctuations in volunteers, but we've also been incredibly well supported. I'm so grateful to the community, as well as through different government support programs. We've been able to expand our operations and serve more people through the pandemic than we ever have.
And you do a lot of educating there too, which is awesome. It's awesome. I mean, you teach people about food, about healthy food, about growing your own food, and about preparing your own food.
Yeah, and of all ages. So we have an after-school program that we run as well, and we changed that through the pandemic to something called Kids Kits, which we're doing, just started another session of. So that's a weekly take-home meal kit with recipes and food literacy information for the family, and they can take it home. And then if they want, they can connect with us online during the program. Otherwise, they can just do things on their own at their own pace.
All right, all right. Now, you are so welcomed here in Smith Falls. You are trying to do the same thing here in Smith Falls as well.
That's right. So we've been invited by a number of community partners, including members of council, Rideau Community Health Services, and a number of church groups to do something similar to what we're doing here in Perth in Smith Falls. We won't be operating a food bank because there are the food banks existing in Smith Falls. But with the meals and the education programs, the advocacy and community navigation services, we want to bring all that to Smith Falls to complement the services that are ongoing, and also to sort of consolidate and bring together the existing services that are offering meals through the churches, and provide a bit more sustainability and long-term viability for those with better fundraising and a bit more staff support.
So you'd be working with the churches, because I know they do have some programs here.
Yeah, absolutely. So members of Trinity and St. John and St. Vincent de Paul Society are on our steering committee for this project, and they've been helping us figure out our way forward through all this. And they're very excited about being able to feed into this and be part of it.
All right, all right. And we're trying to get more people involved and be part of it as well, too. You have a survey out.
Exactly. So we know we've got some key organizational partners in place. We've had some great funding announcements. We received a grant from the town of Smith Falls for the project. We received a very generous donation from Canopy Growth for the project. And so our next piece is to really make sure we've got broad community support, both in terms of volunteers as well as financial support. So we've put out a survey, a request for people to pledge their support to this initiative, and say, would they be able to contribute financially or by volunteering, and also provide us with any other feedback they have about it. And so that we can sort of gauge and feel more confident that we can go forward with a strong base of the community. And that also provides us with people's contact information so that we can get back in touch with them and say, okay, green light, it's a go. Now we need you to show up and volunteer to paint or to cook or to wash dishes or to teach somebody about gardening. now's the time. And also, you mentioned you'd be able to make a donation, so can we count on you for that?
And if people can't make the money donation, the time is so valuable as well.
Absolutely. We run all of our programs in Perth on a volunteer support. So we have a paid staff person that facilitates programs, but then so much of the work gets carried out by volunteers. It's really crucial. And we will be continuing our mandate to really try and make sure that those that are accessing services are also mentored or given opportunities to volunteer as well, and to take on leadership roles and to be really a part of the organization to the extent that they're interested in that and that they're able.
All right. Okay. So can you just give me a visual of what the Falls Food Hub would look like? Is it 5 days a week, 3 days a week, 7 days a week? What is that?
That'll be determined a bit on our funding and how much capacity we have through that. I would, eventually hope that we'd be at minimum 5 days a week. In addition to this survey of looking at supporters, we've also been inquiring with folks about what the program needs might be, and do we need programs on weekends, evenings, daytime? And so we're still very much in the midst of sorting that out, and also looking at what other programs are out there. So if there's a gap somewhere, that we're filling that. So it really, remains to be seen, but at minimum 3 to 5 days a week. And then, there may be here at the table, there's somebody always on site if there's an emergency or something, but, our programs aren't necessarily running 7 days a week, but we do have somebody on site 5 days a week.
All right. I know I wrote it down somewhere here. I think it was part of your mission of the table in Perth too. And it was to provide a healthy healthy size meal to people too. My concern has always been the children too, and I just, the education that you do for children and what a healthy meal is too, I think that's so important.
Yeah, it really is. And we're promoting healthy eating, but without being judgmental about it or without sort of wagging our finger at folks, and really meeting people where they're at and saying, how can we, change things up a little bit or introduce some new things without saying, here's a strict prescription of a diet that you have to follow. So it's very, we focus on being welcoming and making sure the food meets folks' needs, whether that's cultural needs or dietary needs, making sure that folks, for example, that have diabetes have opportunities to learn about ways to use food to manage their conditions. So there's all sorts of different ways that food provides an access to better well-being for people.
Absolutely. And you provide the knowledge and the education on it too. So the survey is out. You want it to be out and be done in the next couple of weeks?
Absolutely, yeah. So we'd really ask people to do it right away. If possible, in the next 2 weeks, we'll be doing some more pushes to get folks that haven't seen it yet to fill it out. We'll also make some hard copies available. We've got 7 local businesses that have offered to take them, and we'll put up a little sign, so keep your eye out for those if you're not into the online survey thing. And then we'll be able to really gauge to what degree is Smiths Falls behind this initiative.
Well, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful initiative, and you're hoping for the summer 2022?
Fingers crossed. If we can get everything lined up, it's an ambitious timeline, absolutely. But we might as well really just go for it, I think. Yeah. And providing we get the support needed, and we're not going to just rush headlong into something, but as long as we can get things lined up, then yeah, I think that's doable for sure. And
you're not announcing a location or anything, but you've got your eye on a few places.
That's right. Yeah, we're still investigating and exploring some possibilities. And we'll see where we land with those. Right. Be happy to announce it as soon as it's a little more concrete.
Excellent. So the survey online can be found where?
The easiest thing is to go to the table's website, and then there's a really prominent link from there, because the survey link's a bit complicated. But for the table, it's just the table CFC for Community Food Center.org. So the table CFC.org.
And there's going to be hard copies out soon at some local businesses, and we'll post those on your website as well, or on
Absolutely.
Facebook? Yep. Excellent. Well, I filled out my survey the other day. I know this is important.
Thank you very much, Catherine.
And one of the, I saw a response yesterday on your Facebook page was somebody who already supports the table in Perth, says they're going to commit to helping out here in Smith Falls too. They already do it on a monthly basis. They're going to do it here too. So
yeah, it's great to hear. I think one of the things that's really important in these kinds of initiatives is to really acknowledge that we have the resources to do these kinds of things. It's an ambitious project, it's a bold project, but we're very blessed to live in a country that has the resources to do this kind of thing, and we just need to be creative, and we need to reach out to folks and make a compelling case, and we know they'll get behind it.
That's right. I agree. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Ramsey Hart, the Executive Director of the Table Community Food Center in Perth, and going to be the Falls Food Hub here in Smith Falls.